my experience, the most common houseplant problems people have are yellow leaves, droopy leaves, brown crispy leaves, no new growth on their houseplants, and pests, and I'm going to show you how I deal with those. The most common cause of yellowing leaves is not enough light and too much water. So this Begonia amphioxus has been in a self-watering pot previously, so it was getting too much water and not enough light. Now, when a plant doesn't get enough light, it can't photosynthesize, and therefore it's not using up the water that you're pouring into the pot. And that leads to root rot, which of course in these yellow leaves. So if you are seeing yellow leaves on your houseplants, it's better to move them to a brighter spot and water them a little bit less. So many people find that their alocasia start to go droopy, or their caladium. Now this is actually something that can be quite natural. They tend to go dormant when there's a lack of light. So there are two options here for an alocasia or caladiums that are starting to look a bit floppy. You can cut back the droopy leaves and move these plants to a brighter spot so that they can grow new leaves again and become a bit more upright. Or you could decide to allow them to go dormant, and to do that you would just cut back all of the leaves when they start to droop, and you keep the tubers in the pot, and you would just store this pot over winter somewhere cool and dry and bring it out again in spring and it will grow back. If you notice your plant hasn't grown any new leaves for many months, it could be that it needs repotting or that it needs more fertilizer. So this one here, it's clear that all the roots are at the top of the pot, so it definitely needs repotting. So to do that, I'm just going to take it out of the pot, remove the old soil, and I'm going to fill a pot with some new fresh substrate, just a couple of inches at the bottom. I'm using here an ordinary potting compost with some perlite and some orchid bark, so that it's really free draining, so when I pour water in, it doesn't remain around the roots for too long and cause root rot. And now I'm just going to fill in around the top here, just to secure it. And once I've done this, it's really important to give it a really good drink. So if you see crispy leaves on your plant, it's most likely going to be caused by a lack of water. Now you should always be checking your soil to see when your plant needs watering. This one is really dry, and that's why these leaves have all kind of gone crispy and they're sort of falling off. So we could just remove these leaves here and give this plant a really good drink. Just by immersing it in a bowl of water, it can soak it up through the soil, and that will hopefully encourage it to grow new healthy leaves. If you have houseplants, at some point you're going to experience pests. Now the first sign of pests on your plant can be sticky sap that's deposited on the top of the leaves. They can also be a little bit deformed or mottled, as in the case of this streptocarpus here. Now I can see on this plant that it has aphids, so I'm going to use some horticultural soap to spray this plant down. And you need to repeat this. You can't just do it once and expect the aphids to die instantly. You're going to have to keep doing this every 3 to 4 days. So I'm just going to use a spray bottle with some water. I'm just going to add in roughly the right amount of horticultural soap. And I'm just going to give it a little shake. So I'm just going to cover the whole plant with horticultural soap. Now it is worth pointing out here that the aim here is just to keep the numbers under control. You're never going to completely eradicate all pests from all of your plants. So the aim is just to reduce the numbers enough that it doesn't damage the plant too much. And I'm going to repeat this every 3 to 4 days until the insects are gone. I could actually cut off some of these leaves and some of these flower stems that have got quite a lot of aphids on them. To prevent pests, I often use something called diatomaceous earth, which is a 100% natural product, and I use this just by sprinkling it on top of the soil. Also, if you have thrips or mealybugs or scale, you can use a brush and apply it to the underside of the leaves where the pests are. The important thing to remember when using this is it has to be kept completely dry, so don't water your plants after using diatomaceous earth. Whatever problems you find with your houseplants, there's usually a simple solution, just like moving it to a brighter location or perhaps watering it a bit less. Just observe your plants daily and then you can keep on top of any issues before they become a real problem.